Oh, look at that. It's a lovely pack of 5 ice creams there just dancing. Really? And one sleepy koala who ruined the fun. Really? Maybe he wants ice cream. I just had an idea. I want to take a screenshot of this real quick though. If I angle it just right. There we go. Now it looks like it's holding the ice cream. Okay. Community Day, April 2025, featuring Vanillite. Oh, excuse me. Let's see here. Okay, I was just looking at something here. That's why I don't have anybody that can evolve to ice, do I? Darn it! Well, I guess I'll just Mega evolve an angry stag beetle then instead. That's logical, right? Never really cared for it though, but it seems like it doesn't matter. I know it's a little bit late over here because usually I start an hour before it's over with. But internet had issues, and the PC had issues, and the connection between the two had issues. Just one of those things, like I previously said, and probably say it again in the future, though. No matter how many times you test things out, even if they work to your liking the first time, though, they're still going to have some issues there. Something tells me that there's a Dynamax anti-Max battle weekend going on. I don't know what that could be. Vanillite has the special ability, what is it? Charge Attack Avalanche. It's a wonder it doesn't have its own special thing called Brain Freeze. Ah! Just because it looks like a typical vanilla flavored ice cream cone that happens to be sentient, though, it does not mean it age. Darn. Yeah, so just a sentient ice creature that just happens to look like ice cream cone. Who knew? Unfortunately, I did not get the data there for the upcoming events, though, for next month, though, May 2025 there. Because I forgot to, well, save it from last time there. Oh well. Go along as this is. Get over here. It's been some time since I last did any, though, but thinking about doing some more of these fun little, I want to say art pieces in a way, though, but illustrations based off of screenshots from Pokemon Go, and which is usually involves obviously more than one Pokemon there with some interesting situations. I want to say though, maybe not super interesting though. It's just yeah, only because there is no collision in this game, so they can appear near each other though in an interesting way. I don't know why I say it like that. Like for example, though, I'm thinking about the one with Kamala right next there to the Vanillite there. So imagine, uh, like I said though, that instead of holding a log, it instead hold one of those instead. I don't know why I said that twice. Of course, I have to. I will eventually go look up though, see how big those sentient non-ice cream cone monsters are. I know it's already 5 minutes into the video though, but heads up though that due to the fact that this is a mobile live stream as of this recording, though. Anything can happen like usual there. So the internet can cut off. People can be talking their heads off, though. People zooming their cars back and forth like they're in a drag race or something. If the video randomly cuts off, though, I will try as fast as I can, though, and possibility, though, of getting back on, though. If unable to, well, I tried. As soon as I gathered the 6-pack over here, or at least try to, though, I'm going to go over there and show the user information, though, or if anybody wants to add me as a friend. Of course, recently they had some more of the Mega, not the Mega, though, but the Max Raid battles up. But unfortunately, though, despite there's a decent amount of people in town that plays Pokemon there, not many will join up, though, unless there's a big incentive there. Like maybe something ultra legendary, though, or mythical. I know they have the legendary beast over there. Like people like to either confirm with one type of species or another type of species, because that will never stop until they officially say so, though. But of course, unable to get those. Recently, I did a max battle involving a Chansey, and I noticed though they must have changed the way its move sets are. I mean, it still uses the same move pools, but when it was first introduced there, it would mostly use attacks that were mostly ineffective to certain typings, though. Like, it would use, what was it, Hyper Beam there, and it used something else. But anyways, though, I did a video the first day it was introduced, at least in North America, since everybody tends to be in different things. And there's a snowflake on my leg. Anyways, though, from this move set, though, it's got certain ones that will definitely take care of those that it is weak against, which namely is, of course, well, fighting. Or unless you're like me, though, happen to have a Gengar, which is also weak to psychic attacks. So, well, the thing is, before they might have changed it, I say questioningly, because I would use a Gengar, though, solo it, so to speak, though, even though you can only enter a battle there if you have at least, not at least, but if you have 3 in your party, though. Oh, look at this. There's a lot of these things. I can't collect it because I already met my quota. Well, anyways, that by soloing it, though, that means use basically the first Mon, though. Do not switch out, though, and then beat it up, though, which was able to do the second time, though, because I wasn't sure what I was doing the first time. And I guess up until they changed it, though, I was able to solo using Gengar. By the way, nothing special about this Gengar. It's not the specialty one, though, the Dynamax one, though. It's just one that can just grow a little bit bigger, though. Anyways, was able to beat the Chansey, though. And the one attack that it could wipe out the Gengar, though, it rarely uses, though. Like, if I had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, though, chances of it using it, though, it'd probably be around 1 or 2. Even if it was like a last-ditch effort, then it'll use a psychic attack because due to the fact that Gengar does have that weakness to poison. But I did notice recently, though, as stated, though, that when I went against it again, the oops, oh, wait, that the attack was used more often than the psychic based one, though. So no matter how well I was secured on the, come on, get it, give me, you know how tanky my Spooky Boy was there. It just like backhands it to next through Thursday. I still like that pun I put on his name, though. So I can't believe after all these years, I finally went and got that shiny, what was it, Metang? Yeah, it was Metang, though. Which is not Metagross, but still. I remember the first time they had that come out. shiny in Pokemon Go, I would see one person in town because it seemed like it was only one person out of town. Because out of all the people that do play it, I'm thinking, wow, that looks pretty cool. The thing is, I never even got the shiny metas anyway. Even in the game when they were first introduced. And by that, I mean legally without any enhancing devices of some kind or cheaters. I thought it was pretty interesting though, although it's still don't really care for its quote face. Next time on X face, look how tiny this thing is. But I want to see a max out whale lord and you use a skitty against it, and it has to be an extra small skitty. Can you imagine? It's like just see this huge whale, and all it can do is just basically this "don't hurt me, please" type of thing there. I'm pretty sure whoever developed the whole, well, not situation, but the whole thing of compatibility with certain Pokemon with each other, though. Yeah, I don't know if that was their plan all along or what, though. But once people found out that with tiny little kitten and a giant whale, and yeah, doesn't matter who goes. Hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. I already got it. I forgot I had the shiny Metagross there. Ew, you're gross. In fact, you're Metagross. Yeah, I know some people are still worried about when Scopely fully takes over Pokemon Go, because even though that some companies would quote assure player base there of things that may not happen, note the word may, they still end up doing something that wasn't exactly like that. Don't worry, we won't do this instead. We'll do it this way. One thing about Scopely, though, I mean, minus the ads aspect, though, some of the games are not too bad. I played Monopoly Go. This it's gonna be funny because this will be the second Go game that Scopely will have now because they have Monopoly Go, which by the way has nothing to do with well altered game reality though. Yeah, which doesn't which is nothing like this though. They just happen to like the word Go because that's the thing though. If a popular phrase or title is doing well, hey, I can name it like that too. I want to say kind of like the whole saga thing of Candy Crush, though, but the word saga was used prior to that. And if we go on Monopoly Go, which is obviously based off the board game that's been around for a long time there of the same name minus the Go part. What was it, last month there while walking around in Walmart because that's what people likes to do apparently whether they do or not. Came across the game board section though. I looked down and saw Monopoly though. It wasn't just any Monopoly. It was Monopoly Go based off the game, based off the board game. It reminds me of one of those things based on a true novel, which was based on real life, which was partially inspired a movie that was based on this guy who just wandered on by. I'm thinking, so you tell me this company made a board game that was based off of a mobile game, which in turn was based off of a board game. Well, okay then. That sounds almost as dumb as a video game based off of a movie of a video game movie that was based off of a video game. Oh wait, that was several of those. Like one example though being Street Fighter. Never played it though, but I've seen it though, and the Street Fighter movie, the game was interesting though because they pretty much took a page out of Mortal Kombat by digitizing their actors into the game. Which don't get me wrong yet again though, because having digitized version of live action actors is Still pretty cool to me to this day, though. Yes, I know Mortal Kombat, though. Oh, did I get off the track, though? Does have their near realistic graphics, though. I'm afraid to see ultra realistic, though. Don't get me wrong on that either, though, because it's still a little realistic to begin with. But I know I've seen some people who still likes the whole digitizing, people in there. But going back to Scopely and Pokemon, though, that I know some people are still a little iffy about that. Mr. Dog. Like, while Scopely does have at least one game that has the intrusive ads, well, last I played it, though, which was the sliding puzzle gym games, Eric. I want to say like Bejeweled, though. Before they kind of took over that, though, that it wasn't ridden with ads. Riddled with that, not ridden. Might be ridden, I don't know. And then I decided to give that game a go a year after it was released because I stopped, I think, 2 months after I got it when it first released, though. And then I kind of got bored. I went and downloaded it again a year later and noticed that it was even more ads on there. So, yeah. They also have, what is it, Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, which also has various characters that are well known and not as well known, and meme characters such as Big Chungus. That one does not have ads, but like any freemium game, though, it does have paying elements. So, and that game is more of a pay to win because in order to get some of the best characters, toss money at screen. They remind me of other games though, where you collect enough coins, bits, or whatever though, in order to combine into well a cooler character which better attacks. Not like some games where it's like, oh well, you got a cooler outfit there, like some of those mobile Final Fantasy games that were out at one time before they got closed down. I'm talking about like legendary characters and this and that. Yeah, that's how they get to you with that one. Then going back to the other game that Scopely has, Monopoly Go, which is not too bad, but it's one of those things that where you have a limited amount of tossing the dice there. Which, by the way, I don't like the whole meter or gauge or anything of equivalence that prevents you from playing all day if you wanted to, though. I remember when Kingdom Hearts Unchained slash Union, though, came out that was like that. Then they decided, play as long as you want, though. Monopoly Go, on the other hand, is like, nah, you can roll the dice this many times, though, and if you gain extra dice, you can keep doing that, though, but eventually you'll run out, and then you're going to have to wait. That game reminds me of other games that are similar to it, though, such as Board Kings and such. I got bored of that king. But later on, Monopoly Go had a track feature, not to be confused with the whole quote battle pass, because everybody needs a battle pass nowadays. Thank you, Epic, for a battle pass. I say sarcastically. Granted that the Fortnite one's still way better than everybody else's. But they added a special track in which originally you could click well, not click, unless you have it on phone. Anyways, you can tap on the thing that'll take you to the website store that allows you to have a spin of the wheel to get whatever free prize it is. So there's another section in the store that allows you to get free something else though. But they also have a track that where, hey, if you buy more rolls with real money and such there on their website, not their in-game store, then you contribute to the track, and then eventually you can fill it up. And once you fill it up, you get a special little token of the month or whatever. And it would be the only way you can get this token. Because like real Monopoly, though, you can get specialized token that's not exactly the base ones or the original ones that came out, although some of the original ones have been retired since. And unless you're one of those people known as whales, aka the people who likes to toss money because he can, ooh, finally, then it might not be worth it though. I remember the first time I heard that terminology, I was playing card battle game though. It was inspired by Japanese mythology from Zenga. Where did I put that stupid thing at? Okay, what else? Let's evolve it. But anyways, and then later on though, they quote had an issue where you couldn't go from the game to their website to fill up their reward track, paid reward track. By the way, their thing is pretty much optional because tokens do not add benefits. It's basically just a cosmetic to whatever your current token is. But anyways, they claim they had an issue with their game, and if you want to contribute to it, though, you still have to go to the website, though, get your free prizes if you want, or spend real money that way. Technically, it's the same thing on the game itself, but over here it gives you the incentive by moving up to the thing there. I wonder what flavor this one's supposed to be. And what is with them combining things into other ones and call them a new one? And look at this. As soon as I claim that one, Intay stopped by. To me, that one still looks like more like a dog than the others. Crab brother. You're gonna beat you. Okay, as soon as I get the Rocky Balboa coconut crabs in this game, though, I will show what I'm leading off to here. By the way, those things are huge. But anyways, before they eventually announced that Scopely was going to take over it, though, people did notice, though, that in the store, though, they had, what's this? A, quote, rewards track. I know, as of this recording, though, it's been out for some time now. But people still don't like the whole idea, though, because somebody did the math there. Because now, if you look at each one of these, unless you go on to their online website, though, you get a little more incentive there, a little bonus moving there. Somebody did the calculations, this and that, though, in order to get all these lovely prizes, which is things that you can commonly get without spending a dime, basically. Yeah, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars there. Because we all know that, let's see, need 5 points, though. I think it's 1.2 ticket. Let's see. Oh, 90 points, though. So, but yeah, the first one is like 3 stickers, though. Hey, congratulations, you spent $5 there. Here's some stickers. Good job. I don't really care for gym tickets there because I can get those anytime. I still got plenty of those. And look, more stickers, this and that. A lot of the stuff you can just basically just get for, well, free. Just battle it out like normal. Wait, wasn't he already over there? Oh, they separated off there, so they put those two over there and put him at the end. I'm surrounded by ice cream. Let's see, how many of those do I got still? I still got 55 premium battle pass. Like I want to spend $5 for one additional one. There's a lot of researchers that just basically say, here you go. You captured enough of these creatures there. Here, pat on the head. Good job. And then not long ago, as of this recording though, that one of the people who worked at Niantic, or at least the team that was with Niantic though at the time, depending on when you watch this, before they moved over to Scopely, they're assures that they're not going to open the floodgates of ads, basically though, and add this, add that, add the ads. I mean, I came across some of those what people would call scams or shovelware games, mobile games, that looks interesting. By the way, I'm not talking about the ones that were with the fake ads there or partially fake ads where they are in the game somewhere to prove they're not fake. But anyways, I came across one that I'm so glad not many actual decent mobile games. Yeah, whenever you say mobile game and games together, people are like, ugh. But some of these games that looks good ends up being ones that are so ad ridden Every little step you take practically is an ad. You want to continue the game? Watch an ad. You want an extra bonus life or equivalent? Watch an ad. You want to face off a different opponent? An ad. You just got done and won the battle. Here's an ad. You lost a battle. Here's an ad. You declined watching an ad for bonuses. Here's an ad regardless. That one was stupid though. Hey, if I said no, I mean no. I don't doesn't mean like here, have it anyways. Because otherwise I might as well just watch the ad to begin with. But people better be glad that hopefully the game does not lead off to that. Anyways, going back to things that doesn't involve ads upon ads, wave after wave. Recently, Pokemon Go had released some new Pokemon into the wild. Also, apparently at the time, I'm not sure if it's still floating around though, but you could get the little bird over there for the Corviknight lineage there, so they can still be floating around. I still never got it though. Recently though, they added the where are they? Oh, yeah, the Applins. Apparently both variants too. I know there's a third one in there, but in order to get these though, you have to be on the lookout for what looks like little apples in the field. You can get more of these to appear if you use the moss lure. Lure? Yeah, lure. Now, when they appear just like apples. Basically, they doing the same thing like they did not long ago for the April Fools, in which you would see a Pokeball on the ground, which either could be a Pokeball or any Pokeball-inspired designs such as Electrode and its lineage and the mushrooms and the bear trap and everything else. Well, just like that, these apples could also be a little applin or one of the two apples that you are required to gather in order to evolve them, which would be the sweet or the tart. But apparently, you need at least 20 of those plus 200 candies, though. So unless you're willing to camp out at the nearest Pokestop there, I have an apple that struggles there. When I first seen this design, it's like, oh, it's a worm and apple. And then I thought where it splits off, though, I thought it was like it's going to open like a mouth, though, because it kind of looks like fangs, though, which is probably the whole point of the design, though. I still like its pun of it being a worm with a WRYM, like the old fashioned draconic type worms, and the fact it's a worm as in the little bug type in the apple. See, now that's clever thinking, though, of coming up with ideas for Pokemon names. I got a tiny one. Anybody order a baby size snow ice cream cone? You get a mild brain freeze. Wow, I just like the hitboxes in this game, though. They don't even have to be a foot away, and they still can hit them. Ooh, that is not that much smaller, and it's also one of the lighter ones. I still wish that they would have it though to where the sizes do influence their cries, as they would call it. I mentioned this before though, where the double X large and small obviously it has to be inspired by the Pumpkin Boo lineup though, but at least with the Pumpkin Boos though, they have different cries based on how big or small they are. But what gets me is the fact that they don't do that in this game though. They're like, okay, here's a big representation of them, or here's a tiny representation though. So you're trying to tell me this tiny little thing can be the sound of something 10 times bigger than it should be? That'd be like hearing some big deep voice though, and it's actually a little a dwarf person though, or a house cat that sounds like a full-grown lion. Yeah, was there somebody activated one? Yeah. Now I don't know the range of the Mossy Lure though, because when they were first introduced, though, the same person activated theirs all the way over there, and as you can see where my range is at, once the circle expands. But I was able to find a couple of apples where I'm standing at in relations to where that Pokestop's at. So I might be lucky and find it that way. This Pokestop, though, tends to either say I'm close or I'm far away from it, though. And I don't even have to be standing still, because usually if you're close enough, though, it expands like that. And obviously, if you're not, though, then it closes up like that. See, it keeps doing it. Okay, I know I said this earlier and I forgot to do it, though, because I've been 30 minutes since. So, okay, so here's the friend code, numerical and QR. Welcome to add me though, but you know how as of this recording, Niantic and maybe Scopely though, I don't know who's in charge of that feature though. Eventually, still has limitations on how many I can send out as well as how many I can open. Once again, that's like imagine going to a birthday party or Christmas though. You see a pile of boxes, but you're only allowed to open 5 of the 20. I'm sorry, Billy, but you only opened 5 of your 25 presents from friends and family. You will have to wait till tomorrow to open 5 more. I just hope that whatever's in there doesn't spoil. See anything good here? But also do note though, because of that limitation there still in place as of this recording, we'll try to get to everybody as best as I can though. If it seems like I'm missing there and maybe not be active, I'm active though. I'm just can only give out so many though because they haven't really increased the rate. The only time they increase the amount of gifts you can open is every few months or so. Usually by then you can open double the amount. So yeah. Damn, somebody got a big hammer. Yeah, for a time you could actually spend money though to get the Tinkerton's hammer over there. Kind of makes you wonder if this thing is supposed to be actually heavy or just looks heavy. But based on how the character swings the hammer, I'm going to say not as heavy. Maybe it's one of those like solid foam type ones though. Just to think of it, the size of a little kid there wielding a hammer that huge though. Well, when you live in a world of creatures the size of house cats or mice that can kill you in various ways, you have to be tough. Oh, ain't that cute? It's a tiny little bitty mouse. Zzz. Yeah, it was a tiny mouse, all right. Are you alive, man? So we get a stick. Oh yes, I always want to see McDonald's. No, I still think it's funny though that the gym over here at McDonald's is still the same one that's always been there before. They decide to add him though, and when they added the gyms after the fact, of course, to McDonald's, the gyms are so close together that if you have two different teams, they inadvertently cause it to look like a Pokeball with each other's colors. I mean, granted though, the gym design is based off Pokeballs from above, like Jigglypuff. Right now, I'm skipping the ones that are fully on there. Oh, you got the little, you get the bug. I forgot that they also recently added that too. Interesting. I really don't care about Decidueye though, but the shiny Hisuian one does look pretty cool though. The Wandering Samurai. See more of its birdie legs. Which I always find it funny that whenever people discover that owls actually do have very long legs, but because they're always covered in their feathers, though, it's like, oh, it must be really small. Yeah, until they fully extend them. Let's see here. I knew I had one here somewhere. Wink. I wonder what. Let's see here. I don't think they ever released the Pokeball design Pavilion yet, so it makes me wonder when they're going to do that. If I remember right, though, they didn't introduce those except for during their special event. I think it was one of the mystery gifts back in the main games. See, I get why some of the butterfly ones have these patterns because they're based on the region, though, but and as well as other survival tactics. Though, but what makes them think that a Pokeball design on the bug is going to help them? I guess, I guess larger Pokemon that might feed on the insects are probably like, oh no, it's a Pokeball. I don't want that. Didn't I just? Oh no, I never did. Yeah, I know some people were complaining there, saying, "Can you bring back this feature? Can you bring back this feature?" I know some people wish they would bring back the way the camera mode was originally, though. Ah, great, did that again. Where you can take a photo of them though, and they look real tiny. Now you have to basically do a full room viewpoint there. Let's see if I can remember this though. Yeah, because if I remember right though, that yeah, just this white, this gradient background though, instead of being where you used to be able to show whatever you're looking at with the camera. That was about 6 more minutes, and I'm about to end this though. But at least I got one. And even though I mentioned this in prior videos, though, I'm still trying to work on I guess you can say UI, so to speak, though, for these videos. I still want to base it off of maybe a Game Boy or something like that, though. But I need to make it look a little bit more cleaner because right now, while it looks decent, ever since I did it almost 3 years ago now. Yikes! That is still a little bit uneven in parts, so I'm going to have to adjust the screen and such. Yikes. Okay, well, I'm waiting for another one to appear, though. Let's see. Look at Sweet Discovery over here. Oh yeah, Delibird and Squovit will drop off. Huh. Are you kidding me? Hold on here. Do that real quick. Okay, let's see. Dynamax over here. Okay, so that's why I was able to get a lot more. Thanks for giving that to me after the fact. I don't know why I was unable to get too many, and it says like you have to wait till tomorrow to get more particles. I wasn't even capped out though. Okay, I already got that. Yeah, it says makes it easier for max battles there with campfire, but the thing is, you have to be localized. Let's see here. There's one for Inte. I really wish they fixed that issue though, where the buddy Pokemon randomly disappears even if it has fullness on its berry meter. Because so far, there's been plenty of times where fully satisfy its berry craving over there. Usually takes about 3 of them. And it'll appear like it should, and then moments later, though, it'll just flat out randomly disappear. And when you go and look at its little profile page, it'll show like, oh, you never did give it berries, though. But the moment you toss a berry at it, though, it's like, oh, I'm full now. It's been going on since last year at least, maybe 2 years now. Man, time flies. Time keeps on slipping, 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 slipping. Mega Mall. Let's see what I have. Standard trade that. I'll wait on that. Galacon, Rocket Boss. Ha ha ha. So I can shadow. Yeah, they should have been doing that to begin with, though, with that Kung Fu one there. Because they would give people these researches, though, but they were mostly all timed researches. Did I not get it? That's one I got the little angry Kung Fu bear. Did I lose it? Where did it go? I got the fox. There it is. Mm-hmm. It's now 5 o'clock Central Time as this recording. Also, I don't know when that thing's supposed to evolve there because you still got like about 36 days before the season is over, and there's no way to evolve Kung Fu there. Oh, I should have activated the lure. Okay, well, since it's already 5 o'clock, that means it's over now, except for the little bonus, though, that's extended until 7 days. Really? I went too far. No, or not far enough. Oh, okay. So now it's expanding. Okay, so they have expanded it though. I guess I never paid attention though, because when they first came out with Community Days though, that introduced the Pokemon's supposedly signature attack. That once the event was over local time of 5 p.m. though, that was it though. Then later on though, they made it to where okay, we'll give you 3 additional hours though, and also raids will appear though, where you can defeat their second evolution though, if there are 3 stages though, which will also allow you to find more that way though. But now that I see this though, because if it was prior, I wasn't paying attention though. But as long as the community day week is up and running though, at any time, which you got plenty of time now, or whenever they first came out though, to evolve your Pokemon to get the signature ability. About time though, because I know some people there. It's like, well, can you make it at this time of day? Because I got to work here. That could be morning, noon, night, whatever, the evening. Because I remember community days used to be on a particular day, which is usually the weekend, and then a particular time of day, like maybe the first 5 hours, like at 9 o'clock at the morning though, or around 12 o'clock at the afternoon. I don't remember the exact time though, but they kept fluctuating though, back and forth though. So yeah, it was probably around the same time they started introducing the community day background ones though, where you can get specialized backgrounds for your characters. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I have to do it this way. I don't know why I keep saying 10. Whenever I look up things, it does not start with TIN. There we go. Yeah, that was during the big event though, the year event. There's supposed to have been a makeup thing though for those who didn't get specialty backgrounds. I think for it wasn't for Kira, it was for somebody else. Okay, so as I hit the wrong button again, that pretty much wraps up the community day event though for April 2025 featuring Vanillite though, the little ice cream fiend over here, ice cream like creature though. I'll be back next time though with another video of that's Pokemon related or something though. If you want to get caught up with all the previous ones that have recorded though, there is a Pokemon Go listing for the Community Day event. So this also includes some of the classic ones, if not all of them. I know there's a couple that I missed though. You should be able to find the playlist somewhere though, because this should be posted on YouTube. If it is, so yay! Which obviously it is because you might be watching this and hopefully you made it this far. Unless you fast forwarded, which I can't blame you. Anyways, if you like what you're seeing, though, you're more than welcome to subscribe, though. I do try to get these community days every time they pop up, though. Even some of the classic ones, which is just, yeah. And with that being said, I'm going to end it now. Thanks for watching, though. Meanwhile, me and my wandering samurai owl will be on another little adventure. Till then, thanks for watching, and later. 3, 2, 1.